of the legends, those who paved our way. In every single chapter, we're here to stay, breaking down plays.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. I'm Lonnie Washington. I'm in the desert in Arizona, and I'm here with my co-host, Tony Robinson. He's in Texas. Tony, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. Just ready to get this thing started. Playoffs.
Excellent.
Playoffs.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. This is the time of year that I think everybody kind of likes. You know, if your team is out of it, you've had a week to kind of digest the fact that they didn't make it. And now you're starting to watch the other football teams out there that it's been really good football games this weekend in the NFL. And we're kind of going to talk a little bit about last week's games and why we previewed this week's games. We got a lot to talk about. What's going on around the league too. A lot of crazy things going on around the league with the coaching thing and things of that nature too, Tony. So it's been really crazy. But let's start with last night's game. We're gonna be talking about this here from last night, where we had the Texans win 30-6, and this game was kind of close, a lot closer in the fourth quarter than people thought it was going to be. When I was watching this game, I was thinking to myself, I says, wow, I mean, this is a 7-6 ball game at one point, and then they got a couple of turnovers, for touchdowns, a fumble, a sack fumble, and then they got an interception late in the game for a touchdown. So it was two defensive touchdowns for the Texans here. But this game was a little closer later than I, kind of like in the fourth quarter than I thought it was going to be. But, at the end of the day, it might mark the end of an era here. This 30-6 win for the Texans might mark a win of, the demise of, let me just say this, the demise of coach. I don't want to say really demise, but I think he was really forced out. Mike Tomlin resigned today, and he's going to be moving on, after this game. And, it was one of those things that, I thought was a possibility, but I never thought that was really going to happen, Tony. But the news today, we're gonna start with this because even though he resigned, stepping down as head coach, you see the blurb here. He's stepping down as the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then he had a last playoff win was January 15th, 2017. That's one of the reasons why he's stepping down. And a lot of the fans, they have been calling for this for a while, kind of like mid-season. And I think it was time for them to depart, Tony. I really do. I think it was time for them to go, time for him to move on and get a fresh start somewhere else, whether it's in broadcasting or whether he's going to take one of the other 7 or 8 coaching jobs out there. And I just think that it's great to see a guy that put 19 years in one team, especially in this climate, right? In this day and age, you don't really see that. What do you think, Tony, about this whole thing with Mike Tomlin? And now he becomes one of the coaches, get one of these vacancies here, probably.
Yeah, I mean they've been calling for his head for like the last 3 years or so because they've been struggling up and down. They've been up and down. Even when they had a winning season, they were still calling for his job and everything. He's a great coach. I mean, he's a very inspirational coach. He's one of the coaches out there that's actually going to coach. He said it himself. I'm not afraid to coach. I'm not going to run away from coaching. I'm going to stand 10 toes down with that player to make sure they know what they have to do and stuff like that. So hats off to him to lasting this long. I mean, he was doing something right that the Rooney family wanted to keep him this long because they usually stay faithful to their coaches. It's just hard when you don't win and then you lose.
Yeah.
You lose the way you lose. And like you said, the game was close. It was 7-6 for most of the game. I mean, they were playing pretty tough. It was a defensive battle. They kept getting turnovers on Stroud and stuff like that. And it's just that when you got Metcalf dropping passes, he started off good, but then he started dropping passes and stuff like that. And a lot of the players weren't in position to play, and they're in the spots where they were supposed to be, and Rodgers was getting frustrated the whole game with that stuff. So, but with I feel like Tomlin, he'll have a job if he wants one. But I heard that he might go into broadcasting, and like we talked about earlier, you said that he might make more money than Brady in broadcasting. So, you never know what's going to happen with that.
Yeah. Yeah, he attached himself to the quarterback. You know, he attached himself to Aaron Rodgers early, and you know, and I think that he thought that they could, you know, maybe create a last-second spark for the Steelers on this last run. I think Tomlin kind of knew that once he attached himself to Aaron Rodgers and it didn't work out, that you know that was his last hurrah there. And Rodgers, you know, he got sacked, you know, a lot of times yesterday. He took a brutal beating yesterday, and I just think that, you know, looking at the press conference and the way that Aaron Rodgers took a beating with the Texans, I don't think he'll be back. I think the only team that he can really go back to, maybe the Minnesota Vikings might give him a chance. I mean, but he'll be 43 years old and got a lot of weapons over there, though, in Minnesota. But I don't know, man. I mean, the Steelers didn't really have a lot of weapons for him either. So, but he has a lot of respect for Tomlin. I'm glad to see that the camaraderie that Tomlin and Rodgers had. They both have a tremendous amount of respect for each other, and the way everything went out. They went out on their shield, right? They went out on their shield. They both lost, and I think it's good for Aaron Rodgers to just give it up. Go and take a year off. Go broadcast and get in the booth somewhere. He's going to make a lot of money wherever he goes. So will Mike Tomlin. I mean, and so, you know, bringing that up too. We're going to talk about with all the vacancies, Tony, which team would you like to see Mike Tomlin coach next? Yeah, where do you like to see him go?
I mean, the bias side of me wants him to come to Cleveland, but then you got, you know, when you got Harbaugh and him staying in the division and actually going to play against their old teams after, you know, playing them 2 times a year, coming to you know, staying in the division, playing against their old teams. I don't know which one we take, but I think Harbaugh is more of a fit than us than Tomlin, because Harbaugh is from the Cleveland area and stuff like that. He went to Toledo. I forgot what college he went to, but he's from the Cleveland area, so he'd be coming home. But I don't know. He wants a lot of money. He wants $20 million, 10 for his coaching staff, and then he wants to pick his own GM. So I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah, I don't know if so he might want to go to a team that don't have a GM, right? Miami might be one for Harbaugh, but you know, Mike Tomlin, I think if I'm really being honest, I mean, I'm a Commanders fan. I think I've made that very clear on this show plenty of times. And if I was the Washington Commanders, I would really make a big play for Tomlin, and I would. Even if I had to fire Dan Quinn, by the way, but I don't think they're going to do that, right? I think Dan Quinn going into next season is going to be kind of like his last year. Like if he has another season like this year, he's going to get fired. But why would you waste your time now when you have these coaches out here like Mike Tomlin, and Mike Tomlin, he has ties to Virginia, right? And so I think that basically him and Dan Quinn, I think, played with each other in college, right? And so I know it'd be kind of crazy to do that, but not necessarily when you have a coach that can really change the course of a franchise, like a Mike Tomlin, you know, and you still got Dan Quinn over there who just fired the defensive coordinator, which he's supposed to be the defensive guy, right? And him and Cliff Kingsbury, Cliff Kingsbury gone. And so now, you know, you hire, you know, David Blah, which is, you know, a very green offensive coordinator to come in with Jayden Daniels. And the only reason why the Commanders did that was to keep him away from going to Detroit, because the Detroit Lions wanted to interview him for offensive coordinator job. I would talk to Mike Thomas camp, and I would say, hey, if you're serious about coming to DC, let's get something into place very quickly. And then we'll deal with the Dan Quinn situation. I definitely would do it. I don't think Dan Quinn. I think Dan Quinn's message has become sour his second year. We've seen him have some success when he was in Atlanta, but you know, nothing long term. So to get a coach like a Tomlin, I think you move heaven and earth to get him. And I know. But if it's not the Commanders, any of these teams that I would have to pick, I think I would like to see him in Las Vegas. The Las Vegas Raiders and Mike Tomlin just seems like a good fit. You know, that old school, you know, culture that you're going to bring that Raiders back. And I know they're in Vegas now, but I would love to see Mike Tomlin in the silver and gold. I really would. You know, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be a good team to go to. But also the other team would be Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, like we talked about earlier on our pre-show call, and Baltimore is like, set it and forget it. Like you go in there, it's like turnkey. You pretty
It's
much
like plug and play.
plug and play. Yeah, you like he goes in there, he has his quarterback, like you said earlier. Defense is already set. You just gotta implement, probably do a couple drafts or draft some guys that are cheap and stuff like that, and bring them in and just plug and play, get his guys in there. So that defense is gonna be nasty. So
I mean,
yeah.
Figures with Sage. About anything about the Baltimore defense. I know what you're trying to say. I would say that, man, if you get Mike Tomlin and the defensive coach that he is, and Baltimore's kind of known, they got the pieces there on defense too, just a lot of injuries. Yeah. And then, all of a sudden you've got Lamar Jackson playing for, you give him a quarterback like Lamar Jackson. Oh man, just the camaraderie that I think that they would have with each other would be insane.
And it might rejuvenate, keep Henry around for a little longer too. I'm sure he's getting a little long in the tooth though, but as a running back. So, but he takes care of his body. So, I don't know if, man, that team is going to be that. I think Baltimore is the main team that he should go to. Even though I'm a Browns fan, I don't want him to stay in the division, obviously. But if he goes there, it's like it's lights out.
I think so too. I think that we had to start off talking about that, but we're going to talk about the Rams and the Panthers game. The Panthers nearly pulled off an upset in a high-scoring thriller, and it took Matthew Stafford some last game heroics to come back and win that football game. And 34-31, they avenged a loss earlier in the season, going into Carolina, and they got beat. And this game was a knockout, dragout type of game, and the Rams came out on top. And I just can't say enough about Matthew Stafford and the way he's played. A lot of people are probably talking about Drake May getting the MVP. I don't think for 1 minute that Drake May should get the MVP over Matthew Stafford. He's played a tougher schedule. The guy is just a phenomenal player, and his stats this year are just incredible. And so, when you start looking at that, I think definitely, Matthew Stafford for me should get the MVP. Now he's going to play the Chicago Bears, and in Chicago, I got to say that Matthew Stafford is coming, and that it's going to be a really good football game with Matthew Stafford there. And so, saying that, Tony, what did you think about this game overall?
I think it was a great game. I thought I wanted Carolina to pull this upset off, and just the underdog kind of mindset. Carolina playing at home, they play their butts off to try to get this win. You had Cam Newton coming out to beat the drum out there, to bring some energy and stuff like that. But it wasn't enough for them Rams, because you got that Puka Nacua guy. That guy balled out. They just kept getting the ball to Puka. And I said on the last podcast, Puka is going to be it was going to be Puka and McMillan. McMillan and Tedero played pretty solid and stuff like that. But yeah, it's this next game coming up. I can't wait to see how they play, on the road in Chicago. So.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good game, and I think that this was a great matchup. I think this matchup is really what the Rams wanted, but I think that the Carolina Panthers game a little bit more than what they bargained for in this game. I didn't think that they thought that was going to be this tight, but in the playoffs, things are a little bit different. Teams play different, and also, styles make fights, right? You never can know how did Carolina beat, the Rams earlier this year. How did they almost win this game, right? But styles make fights, and I don't think the Rams defense has been really that good, to be honest with you, over the last 5 or 6 weeks. It's the offense has been carrying them. The Rams defense had been better earlier in the season, the midseason, but coming down the stretch here, their defense has been giving up a lot of points, and they've got some cracks in that defense that, going into Chicago, and we'll talk about that later, that I think that could be a little bit of a problem for them. If you're starting to really think about it, that could be a little bit of an issue for them. Also, we're going to talk about the Bears and the Packers, the Bears, right? And so I was really excited for the Bears fans on this one, right? I really, Chicago mounted an impressive comeback win after trailing by 18 points. And I was really excited to see the Bears come back and win this game. Caleb Williams have started to become just the that quarterback, that comeback guy, right? I mean, he's got 7 comeback wins this year, trailing by 18 points. I think he put up like 25 points in the fourth quarter to win this game. It was freaking amazing. Or in the second half. This game was just totally amazing by Caleb Williams, and I love to see it because a young guy to see a young guy coming of age, right? In the playoffs is where you make your bread and butter. You can have all kinds of stats during the regular season, but you make your mark in this league when it comes down to the playoffs. And I think that when you start looking at it, that he just had a phenomenal game. I mean, he wasn't good early, but boy, he really turned it on. What was you saying to yourself when this game was like 21-3 at halftime, Tony? Did you turn it off, or did you say, I gotta go and watch this probably the second half?
I'm not gonna say I knew that this was coming, but I feel like with the playoffs, anything can happen, and in the NFL, anything can happen. So I feel like I had to watch the game because you just never know what can happen, and knowing what happened the last, game, they did the same thing. They came back and won again, won the game. So you can never count these guys out. Like we said before, the cardiac kids, they always making that comeback. But I did, I'm gonna keep pounding this drum about my receipts that I have. From back at the beginning, when they were like when they lost their first couple games or whatever it was, they lost and they weren't playing too good. And I was like, hey brother, that Ben Johnson offense, he's gonna make them better. Just give him some time, let him get acclimated to the offense. And he's showing me that with the Ben Johnson offense, you just got to have that two-headed monster at the running game, and then you just let them let the passing game go as it comes. But the running game is key. When they first allowed Monangai to start running the ball with Swift, that's when it took off. And I feel like it's going to be hard to stop that running game, especially with the Rams coming to Chicago.
Yeah, the weather.
Out of the dome,
it's going to be cold.
Cold weather, out of the dome, Rams. I don't know.
It's going to be interesting. We're going to see. I'll get your picks in a little while, but it's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. And then, when we start really looking at the other games, we had the Buffalo Bills at the Jaguars, 27-24 in a nail biter with 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter. I'm sitting there looking at this game and I'm saying to myself, oh man, this game is just a killer game. I'm saying to myself, like, I just couldn't believe the way this game panned it out. And it was such a really good game to see. And I was like, man, Josh Allen, pulled this game off, and he took some hits in this game too. That was crazy. And 27-24. And then, Trevor Lawrence, if you start looking at Trevor Lawrence and just kind of like his body of work in the playoffs, it's kind of a mixed bag, right? Big comeback win against the Chargers. And then all of a sudden, he during the regular season, he can't miss. And then he gets here in the playoffs and throws a pick at the end of the game to try to mount the comeback to get in the field goal range. Remember, their field goal kicker can kick the ball 65, 66, 70, 67 yards. I mean, he's the record holder, the NFL record holder in the field goal. And all he had to do was basically get to midfield on the 45-yard line of the Bills. And then he throws a pick, first play, and then the season's over for the Jaguars. I think they had a great season, for the first-year coach there. But I was very disappointed in the way this one ended. I said that Josh Allen is going to put out the cape, and that's what he did, Tony.
Yes, he did. I'm very disappointed in the Jaguar. I had them winning the game. Even in daily fantasy, I had quarterback, the running back, and the defense. I thought the defense was going to play way better than they did. When it counted, I have to give my hat off to Allen, but I still feel like it's not sustainable moving forward. Like to the going against the Denver Broncos, like one of the top 5 or top 3 defenses in the league. It's going to be hard for them to do the same thing, especially with Josh Allen with those injuries. Yeah. But Josh Allen played his butt off, and I'm happy for him. I mean, but we're gonna see what he does in Denver with that mile high weather. It's gonna be different.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. I mean, yeah, Josh Allen has done what I expected him to do. Again, no Lamar Jackson, no Mahomes, and no Joe Burrow.
Ryan Day to Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I'd put that up there by KC.
He's trolling me. He's trolling me. You see the Buckeyes.
KCH Miz. I had to put that up there because obviously, that would affect my boy Tony here because he loves the Buckeyes, right?
Ryan Day ain't going nowhere.
He could. I mean, that is not a far-fetched comment, though. I mean, that is not a far-fetched comment. I mean, Ryan Day could go to Pittsburgh. And I think what? You don't think it's a better job? You just don't think that it's going to happen?
Nah, it ain't happening.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, come on. That could actually happen. So, I mean, I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, I don't want to interrupt the flow of the show, but I mean, I had to throw that up there because I saw you.
I had to say something because it's the Buckeyes over here, so they see that.
So you think he's just trolling you, but I think, I mean, Ryan Day to Pittsburgh. Yeah, so they're gonna just keep on saying and
they know what they talking about. Jackson Baller
yeah.
know what they talking about.
Yeah, he's like, nah, man, he ain't gonna leave. But anything's possible. I mean, if they're looking for, there's a lot of coaches out there that are available for Pittsburgh, but they could reach down there. I mean, that would be something else. I would love to see you crying about that one if it happened. Okay, moving on. 49ers versus the Eagles, 23-19. San Francisco goes into the division champions' house and beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and it proves out that the Eagles were pretenders this year. They didn't want it this year. They got a taste of that championship, and AJ Brown has been, sounding the horn though all season. He's kind of been sounding the horn all season, but people are saying AJ Brown is the problem, not anybody else. I mean, he did drop some balls, but him arguing on the sidelines with the coach and, because he wasn't getting the ball. I mean, I think he had 4 receptions for like 25 yards. This was a wild game to see them like fizzle out there on the comeback try. The Eagles was trying to come back and they just kind of fizzled out, man. AJ Brown had 3 or 4 drops, maybe 2 or 3 that he actually got tagged for. But this was the 49ers, a dangerous game because the 49ers coaching staff is really, really good. And, McCaffrey, you try to stop McCaffrey in the running game, but he kills you in the passing game, right? This guy is a true Swiss Army knife, and he's just a stud. And so they weren't able to contain him later in that game. And so the Eagles go down. And I think I posted something on my Facebook page that said, 49ers fans, get out of Philly now because these fans are pissed. 49ers fans are hooping and hollering in the stadium and they're trying to troll the fans there. Philly is not the place to do that. Get the hell out of there, man. You got the win. You should have been all the way down the road already before this game ended. Right. And you can't do that. I've been to Philly before, man. And I saw the Commanders beat them on a Monday night in 2022. And I made sure that I got the hell out of there with no fanfare at all. But I celebrated like hell in the car when I got in the car. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, what do you think about this game?
But don't let the wine and cheese of the San Francisco 49er tailgating party fool you. They get active in the Bay Area, just so you know that.
Okay, all right.
I used to live there, so I know what they do out there. But I'm gonna say this: it did come down to AJ Brown. AJ Brown. It's just a negative energy on the sideline, like you said, and the drop passes you've been talking about. Give me the ball the whole season. When they try to get you the ball, you dropping passes. You looking like our receiver on the Browns team. He's not important to remember. Hopefully he's gone. But when you can't show up in the big games and you dropping passes and you crying for the ball every time you even crying when you're not producing. Like he's over like sulking on the sideline, dude. Like get your butt back in the zone. Talk to your teammates. Give inspiration to the defense. Like try to uplift the team, but you just sitting over there crying. And it was a spiral effect to me. I feel like if you can't take away McCaffrey in the passing game or the running game, that's why we talked about it on last podcast. It's like if you gotta cut the head off of the snake, if you can't take him away, just like the Seattle Seahawks did. If you can't do what the Seattle Seahawks did, and you're the defending champions. Your defense is no slouch either. But it's just McCaffrey's that guy. McCaffrey's the guy, and he's the person you have to stop. If you stop him, the whole offense is off kilter. So I don't know.
Hey, answer the question. Do you think AJ Brown has played his last game in Philly?
Yes, I do, and I hope he comes to Cleveland because that's the number one receiver we need. Even though he's, it's the time that but usually players like that, they come to Cleveland. So I'm okay with it. Come on over. Get some of that Shadur Sanders cooking. That you gonna get the ball.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think Shadur's gonna be
talking into existence. AJ Brown. Your last name is Brown. Come to the Browns. Let's go.
Yeah. I think, quite frankly, I think that he's done in Philly. I think that, just on how everything ended, he didn't talk to the media after the game. Jalen Hurts was asked about it, and he kind of says, yeah, we cool. I mean, whatever. But we're okay. But I think that he's done in Philly. There's been some tension. I think it's more personal there with him and Jalen Hurts. And I don't know this for sure, but to me, it just seems like there's something over the last couple of years that they could not overcome. And that becomes more of a personal thing, right? I think it was more personal than just professional with them two, because eventually, if it's professional, you're going to put everything aside for the team like he did last season. But if it's personal, it's hard to get over that, right? It's hard to kind of get over that, and something keeps popping up, preventing them from gelling as a unit.
I think it's a culmination of the coaching too. I don't feel like it's totally on like between them two. I feel like it kind of spilled over into their relationship, because AJ Brown is like, dude, like, I'm the one of the top receivers you have. You can actually do something about it. Like, why aren't you passing me the ball? Like, and then like when, I don't know, it's just all the negativity kind of spiraled into him dropping passes in this last game. He tried to get him the ball, and then when you try to throw you the ball, you drop passes. So it's kind of hard to know where it's coming from. But I feel like it's a culmination of the coaching and like you said, between them two personally. So over time, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like, somebody took somebody's girl with that relationship. I mean, it's like it's really like oil and water. And they tried to put everything aside. They got a Super Bowl out of it, right? This year they just couldn't overcome the problems that they had, and the Eagles have been horrible in the second half of football games. And we thought that this was just something that was just a fluke, man, but it just horrible football team in the second half. I've never seen anything like it. I don't think there's ever been anything like it in the history of the NFL, just some of the games that they've had in the second half. I mean, it's been incredible. We're going to move on here and start and talk about, the New England Patriots, and the Chargers. New England's defense dominated, holding the Chargers to just 3 points in this game. And the Patriots, if you haven't got the Patriots on your radar, I'm not quite sure what you've been watching all year, because this has been just an incredible thing to have them both, to see what the Patriots have been doing. And now people are saying, oh, they had an easy schedule. But this is the playoffs now. There's no game that's going to be easy. They draw the 7th seed, which is the Chargers. The Chargers do have a lot of injuries, but Justin Herbert was getting killed out there by the Patriots, right? It just was bad. Drake, it took him a little while to warm up a little bit, right, in this game. But the Patriots pull it out. They get the big win, and I don't want to really hear people talking about Drake May for MVP. I think definitely it shouldn't go to Drake May. 16-3. He didn't really look great in particular in this game. But, the defense was all over Herbert. But Drake May made enough throws when it counted to win this game. So I'm going to give the young guy credit. But, we're going to see this week. They have a tough task ahead of them this week. But I got to give the Patriots a lot of credit. So all my New England fans out there, all my friends that are New England fans, I got a lot of them out there because I'm from New England. I'm from the Massachusetts area, the Springfield area. and that's all New England. So, Tony, what do you think about what the potential Patriots is going to possibly do moving forward? I mean, looking at this game, of course, what do you think about this game? What do you think the Patriots shows you in this game?
Well, they showed me in this game that they're just like those old Belichick teams where they because Vrabel's cut from that same cloth, that coaching tree where they take something away. And I feel like they were trying to take Herbert away, and they just rushed him. And I mean, because they know the offensive line is not that great, so they just kept pressure on him, all different kind of angles, all different ways. Where he was so flustered, and he was just, I mean, he doesn't show that he's frustrated, but you can tell in his face, you can see it. It's like, oh, I can't do anything. What can I? He doesn't have time to throw to his receiver. He has a nice receiving core, and I just feel like he just couldn't do what he usually does. And like he tried to come out with his Josh Allen game towards the end, and it's just not enough. I mean, he just couldn't. He's not a runner like that, But you can't leave him open though. He will get some yards. He will get like 15 yards if you play man and like you turn your back to him. He'll dart out of there. But the front four was like really good at getting to him. And I feel like the Patriots, they have a nice shot of making it to the AFC Championship game.
It's all about matchups, man. It's all about matchups.
Yeah, the way it's set up right now, I feel like I don't know, but that Houston game is going to be a good game.
It's going to be crazy, right?
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break. We're up against our 30-second break. We'll be back in 30 seconds, guys. Sit tight. We'll talk about this week's games in the divisional round when we get back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Chasing the Highlights podcast. Tony's getting some hugs from his boys. It's late over there in the Central Time Zone, so Tony's doing the family man thing. I love it. Love to see it. And so we're back. Lonnie Washington again here in Arizona. Tony Robinson, my co-host, he is in Texas. And we're talking about the NFL, the divisional round now on the second half of our podcast. And everybody that's chimed in, thank you for joining. I love how everybody always is in love how big my head is on the screen. So whatever, man. It's all good, man. No worries.
When you're over 6'1", your head can't be small. I'm 6'7", so it's big too. So
yeah, I mean, y'all don't know that Tony's 6'7", right?
Yeah.
I'm 5'11", he's 6'7", it's all good. But I don't really care, man. I'm over 50. So I'm cool, man. Nothing bothers me, man.
Still getting it though.
Yeah, I'm still getting it. Right. And we're gonna start off, Tony, with a big question here. What team left do you think will go to the Super Bowl from each conference? Before we get into our picks for the night, what team do you think left that can actually go to the Super Bowl? That is our first question of this segment.
After that Bills game, I thought the Bills would have a shot because I just saw how the defense was for how the Jacksonville Jaguars defense been for all this whole season, and I felt like they pulled it out in such a fashion that the Bills had a chance to go. But I have to change my AFC side. I feel like the Patriots have a good shot of like I said earlier, AFC the Patriots have a good shot of making it to the AFC Championship game, and I feel like they'll be going against the Niners.
Oh.
I want to say Seattle. I want to say Seattle so much, but I just don't trust the quarterback play there yet. He plays well during the season, but when the playoffs happen, I don't know. I'm kind of worried about that with him.
So
the Niners
you mean to tell me?
Come at him. Go ahead.
So the Rams are not nowhere in your on your radar right now
because of their defense. Their defense is not consistent enough. And I feel like the Niners can just put up points on them, I feel. But I don't know. It's kind of hard
Okay,
to.
well, you made your pick very clear this week. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, you made it clear already this week of what you wanted to do. So I think that the last two teams that I think that's going to make it to the Super Bowl, I think it's definitely the Rams. All right, I'm thinking the Rams are going to make it, and I'm going to go on a limb and say Buffalo. All right, the Rams and Buffalo. I think Buffalo can go in and beat Denver. And Denver better watch out because I hope they didn't eat too much on their vacation week because you got Josh Allen still there, and I think that he can go into Denver, and I think he can go and beat I think he can beat the Patriots. Now I might not think that he can beat the Texans, right? I don't know if he can beat the Texans. That's the problem. I think that if New England wins and gets into the championship game, and then Buffalo wins. I think Buffalo can beat New England in New England because they've already proved that they could. But I don't think that Buffalo can beat the Texans in that defense. And so I think it's all about matchups.
I feel like Buffalo is going to end up playing the Patriots because if Stroud keeps playing the way he's playing, giving up those turnovers, you can't turn the ball over against New England. You cannot. Because if you keep giving him opportunity after opportunity, the way he did in that Pittsburgh game, I don't know, man. Like if he does anything close to what he did in that Pittsburgh game, there's no way Houston can stop them because they're just gonna be on the field way too often. And I feel like if Stroud can get a hold of his taking care of the ball, they got a shot. But I feel like the total team dynamic, and they're gonna be playing at home. Stroud's gonna be outside of the dome again, playing in cold weather. That's what I'm looking at. That's why I feel like Houston's not going to beat New England. So I got New England against Buffalo. Yeah, Buffalo in the AFC Championship game, and we see what goes from there.
Yeah, it's going to be good. The reset here. The NFL divisional round matchups are set with the top seeded Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos joining the action after their first round byes. This weekend games features a set of compelling games, including the NFC West rematch and the battle of a strong AFC defenses. And, AFC right off the bat, the Buffalo Bills on Saturday, they travel to the Denver Broncos, and the Denver Broncos are the number one seeded team. And so with that being said, Tony, Bills at Broncos, I think we kind of showed our hand on this one already, but I think that the Broncos offense sputters a little bit. They kind of sputters a little bit, and then they get going kind of late in the game. But that defense is kind of like the engine. But the Buffalo Bills, I think, now that they have Crooks for the, I think Cook have to be involved in that game in the running game. I think we had kind of talked earlier, Tony, during our kind of our production meeting that Cooks we haven't really seen him in certain situations in the game, and for some reason it's like, why this guy here is leading rusher and why he's not in the game when the game is on the line. I think they're going to have to start rolling him out there a little bit more to get some dynamic speed on the outside, to kind of match that really good defense that the Denver Broncos have. And I think that's how they win this game. They control the ball with the run. And if they can run and get some plays down the field and let Josh Allen kind of work some magic, he's going to take some hits. He's going to get beat up like he did the last game against the Jaguars. But, the cold weather don't bother the Buffalo Bills. And this is the time of year. The cold weather don't bother the Buffalo Bills. That's why I say that they're like battle tested. It's cold as heck in Buffalo right now. They're going to Denver. It's probably colder in Buffalo now than it is in Denver. But, the mile high altitude, you think might play a little bit of a part. Or do they travel there a day or two early just to kind of get used to it?
It's definitely going to be the altitude that gets to them. But I also feel like the Broncos defense is not going to allow Josh Allen to do what he does. Usually that's what I feel. I feel like their defense is battle tested in a way. But yeah, the week off is going to kind of get to them, I think, especially the offensive side. The offensive side is so inconsistent. Like I told you before, I had Bo Nix in in my fantasy leagues and stuff like that, and he was so up and down. Teams he was supposed to beat, like blow out, he struggled with. The teams he was supposed to struggle against, he played up to. So I feel like in this game, Bo Nix could come out and play very well against the Bills because of that just that what I just said. Like it's a great team in the playoffs. He may play up. But I also think that he could probably struggle because the Buffalo Bills defense is good at stopping the pass. So he's going to have to run the ball, get out of the pocket, and do different things to get going. That's what I feel like he's going to have to do to bring a different dynamic to that offense. Because I mean, the season offense of the Broncos, they struggled pretty much all season to me, and the defense, kept them in games and stuff like that to get them the first seed. So, yeah,
I mean that's going to be a really good game. I can't wait to see it. Our next game is the 49ers at the Seahawks. If you're really looking at, I mean, this is a NFC West division matchup. Number 6 seed, the 49ers, 13-5, will face the top seed, the Seahawks, as 14-3. The Seahawks won their Week 18 game matchup 13-3 to clinch the number 1 seed, and the 49ers will face injury challenges, including George Kittle. He tore his Achilles the last game in Philadelphia. Seattle was currently a 7.5-point favorite at home, and that line is probably going to move even higher, I think, in this particular game. But I think that you got to be careful with the 49ers because the coaching staff is really good. I think that, man, and they've been there before. You guys remember they played in the Super Bowl, right, a few years back, 3 or 4 years ago. And, Shanahan knows how to coach. He knows how to win. And you got Robert Saleh, that is the defensive coordinator, right? He's the defensive coordinator on that team. And I think that it's going to be a really good game. And these are playoff games. Seattle's going to be crazy. It's the first playoff game in Seattle in years. That place is going to be rocking. And Tony, how it is, how intense it is in Seattle. You've been there. You've done some stuff, with the team actually. And so you've been there. So I'm thinking the Seahawks is going to win this game. But, yeah, be careful, Seahawks.
Yeah, that's the thing. What I'm worried about is that first round bye. How they're going to come out after that first round bye? Are they going to still have the juice? I think they still do. I mean, their defense is potent. They had, it's almost they brought the no-fly zone back, and they're getting into the quarterback. The front four is doing their thing. I just worry about Sam Darnold and how he plays on the offensive side because, I mean, I don't want to say it, but, I feel like they Niners going to take away Smith-Njigba, and I feel like it's going to fluster Darnold, and he's going to throw a pick or two, and I feel like that's what's going to get the Niners over the edge because I like Sam Darnold, but I feel like he in key moments he kind of like he gets flustered a little bit, and I don't know. But I don't think that the Seattle Seahawks do to the Niners, to the McCaffrey, what they did the last game. I feel like they're going to learn from that situation and get him out of the pocket, out of the backfield, dump it off to him more, and like do some different things where they're forced to spread themselves out. And because they're going to try to rush. So you just got to either run right at the rush or like just dump it off to them.
I think Trent Williams didn't play that last game either. I think Trent Williams might have been out that last game too. And so he's back. It's going to make a big difference, man. When you got Trent Williams in there, you're not going to be able to come on the blind side and beat up Brock Purdy like you did the last game because Trent Williams is there. And obviously, I think that it's going to be a really good football game. I got the Seattle Seahawks at home. I think that the 49ers are really, really too beat up right now. And I think once the Seahawks start going, now the only thing is if Sam Darnold starts to turn into last year's Sam Darnold in the playoffs when he was with the Vikings, that would be a problem. And I'm not confident in Sam Darnold in the playoffs, to be honest with you either. So it's going to be really a really good game. But I think the defense might do just enough to hold off the 49ers in this game.
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
It's
kind of a pick 'em game to me because it's kind of hard.
It's a pick 'em game. Well, it's a 7.5-point game, Seattle. So I gotta go with what the experts are saying. I mean, did you vote? Did you get the 49ers and win all this money? I don't know. If you pick the 49ers straight up.
I mean, that's what they want. That's what the 49ers want. They want you to think that. They're the underdog. They like to be the underdog. So,
yep. It's crazy. It's crazy. The Texans at the Patriots, the number 5 seed Texans, 12-5, they've won 10 straight games. I mean, people don't realize it. The Texans have won 10 straight games. They'll travel to face the number 2 seeded Patriots that are 14-3, which is an amazing record in itself. New England has a crazy strong pass rush, which shut down the Chargers last week again, and they'll look to contain the offense of the Texans, which might be Nico Collins. He went out with a concussion. That might be the difference. I mean, because Nico Collins is not playing, and he's always kind of hurt too. He's kind of like glass. He's really never available. And, the Patriots are only a 2.5-point favorite. But, man, if that defense starts to get some turnovers and start scoring some points, the Patriots could be in trouble. But I think the Patriots might outlast the Texans. They just might barely outlast the Texans. I don't know how, but I just got a feeling that New England mystique and what Vrabel is doing in New England is kind of getting them back to where they used to be. And so, when I'm looking at this, I'm saying to myself, man, this could be one of those things to where it's a home team. But boy, they look so good against Pittsburgh. But again, I got to say it's the Pittsburgh Steelers, not the New England Patriots. The Patriots are a different team than Pittsburgh. Drake May is playing. Drake May didn't look good last week, though. So if he has to play a lot better than he played against the Chargers to win this game.
Yeah, like you were saying, the injury to Collins, but I feel like Higgins, Hutchinson, and Kirk are going to step up. Kirk had a solid game because I had Nico Collins in daily fantasy, and he didn't do nothing for me because he got hurt. And then Kirk just stepped up and did what he did.
I think he had 140 yards receiving, 8 receptions. He was ridiculous.
And we've been waiting for that for a whole season because he's been there, but he had injuries and stuff like that. But then he's finally getting his footing, and now he's getting an opportunity to showcase his talent because he's been bouncing around a little bit. He played in Jacksonville and some other teams and stuff like that. Now he has an opportunity to show that he's meant for this moment and he's supposed to be in the NFL because the injuries have been piling up for him, and I feel like this is his opportunity.
Yeah, he's a good player. I mean, he's a good player. I mean, he wasn't worth this contract that he got in Jacksonville. I mean, when he left the Cardinals and went to Jacksonville and got this crazy $28 million deal or whatever, he wasn't worth that money. I'm not counting anybody's money, but his production was not good. And now that he found a place with the Texans and maybe he can rekindle that. But Stroud, he had a horrible game yesterday. You can't have 4 fumbles and all this crazy stuff going on with the snap count. I mean, he was getting the ball was flying to him when he didn't even ask for it. It's literally crazy. They got to get that together. But the defense kept them in that game. And boy, this is going to be such a good game to see. I can't wait to see it. I'm excited for this next round. And so we'll see how it really pans out. Everybody now has, I think, been chiming in a little bit. Some people have been asking about, some people are saying the Bears versus the Bills in the Super Bowl. Not quite sure, Sean Capri. It's possible. But can the Bears go and beat the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle? No, I don't think so, man. That's crazy. I don't think so. But we'll see how that works out. And but yeah, some people have got, Avery Kindred says, the Rams versus the Texans in the Super Bowl. That could be an interesting matchup.
But the quarterback play has to be better with Stroud. And Stroud doesn't get that the turnovers under control. I mean, his center is an issue too because he's sniping the ball when he's not ready and stuff like that, and just not catching the ball on the snap. But if they can get the offense together, the defense is gonna show up. The defense is gonna show up. So if that defense keeps showing up the way they do and Stroud get it together, they're a force to be reckoned with. We just don't know because he's playing outside again in cold weather in New England.
He's not good outside, though. He's not good.
Outside that dome.
He's not good. And then somebody said, I think the 49ers will come out on top to eventually beat the Super Bowl.
That's what I think. I think it's the 49ers' time again. Like it's their time. They've been against Mahomes is not here, because they lost to Mahomes, and I feel like that the 49ers has a shot to win this Super Bowl this year.
I think they're just too beat up, though. I wish that was right, but I think they're just too they're just too beat up. I mean, I don't know. I would love to see it, but I just can't. I just can't think that they would win that game. All right, we're moving on anyway. But yeah, thanks guys for your comments. I really appreciate you guys chiming in. So yeah, Rams at Bears. Number 5 Rams, 12-5 will play the number 2 seed, 13-4, the Chicago Bears in Chicago. The Bears put off the big comeback win against the Packers last weekend. The game features a dynamic quarterback matchup between Matthew Stafford and Caleb Williams, with many analysts predicting a high-scoring affair. The Rams are a slight favorite by 3.5 points, and I think they're. I think they're going to win by more than 3.5 points. To be honest with you, I think this game might not be as close as people think. It could be close, but I think it could go either way. I don't think it's going to be really a big close game. It could be, but I think if it's a shootout, I think the Rams win this game. If it's a really close game, a shootout down the stretch, whoever has the ball last, let me just say that. Whoever ends up with the ball last with time on the clock, I think, because Stafford could come back like that with him and Puka Nacua and Adams, even though I didn't like the game Adams had last week. But, Adams is just getting back. And if he can come in and make a couple of good catches, and if he has 100 yards receiving, or I don't think he will. I think he'll probably be around 50 to 70 yards receiving Devontae Adams. But you got Puka Nacua who can get 200 yards receiving on you if you're not careful.
Yeah, but I feel like that cold weather and the windy conditions in the Chicago is going to play a big factor in this game. I feel like the Rams, they're outside of the dome, but Stafford is the man. He's going to find a way. I know he's going to find a way, but I feel like the Bears are going to get some turnovers. They may get 1 or 2 turnovers, and they're known for getting. When their backs against the wall, they'll get like 1 or 2, a strip sack or something. They're going to get something to actually put them ahead. I got the Bears in this game because they're at home. Rams outside of the dome, and Puka Nacua is going to have a good game because they're going to have to pass. I feel like they're going to have to pass a lot. But the windy conditions, I feel like it could be an issue.
Yeah, I mean,
in that running game for the Bears, I mean, the Rams defense is not that great, like they used to be with Aaron Donald when he was there. They had the dominant defense. They're a shell of that defense they used to have, and I feel like the Bears has a chance with that running game, that two-headed monster. And and Caleb Williams can run the ball too. He'll sneak off a couple 15-yard runs on you, and you'd be like, what happened?
He'll make some throws in this game that'll be like, wow, he made that throw. But I think that the Rams can be opportunistic too on the back end, and if they can, get a couple of turnovers and things and make it happen there too. I got some people chiming in on some college stuff, so why not go there for a minute, right? Got a few minutes here, right, Tony? So the University of Miami, they beat your Buckeyes, Tony.
They bring that
Buckeyes, up, bro.
They keep seeing this.
Right. They beat your Buckeyes. So
here we go.
Indiana's a different animal, though. I mean, nobody thought that they was going to hang 50 points on Oregon. I mean, they beat them earlier in the season, but nobody thought that they were going to really do that kind of work. But I think that. What do you think about? We'll talk about it. I mean, that game's coming up on Monday night. What do you think about the national championship game in Miami? Right, and then you got University of you got Mendoza, who grew up right down the street, right, less than a mile from the University of Miami, right? And it's a lot of storylines in this game. I think if any team that can give the Indiana a good game because of team speed and all those different things, I think it's University of Miami.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Miami showed us something. I mean, they're hard nosed, and they have that it factor. But I feel like the way Indiana recruited, it came out that he recruited through the portal. He took a lot of older players, like juniors, seniors, mostly seniors. These are grown men playing against young kids, pretty much, is what the way the setup is. Because he learned from years of just being at a major and stuff like that. And I feel like Indiana has a shot, but it's going to be a close game because that Miami defense is pretty solid. I just don't know about their offense though. Miami's off because Indiana defense is really good. Everybody's discounting Indiana defense, but I feel like Indiana it's going to be a low scoring game because of that. Both sides defense is really solid. I feel like I give the edge to Indiana.
Indiana
I'm a Big Ten. I'm a Big Ten fan, so I got to.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana put 50 on Oregon, and I think that, man, Indiana. I mean, Mendoza. I mean, he's just playing accurate with the ball, smart with the ball. You know, he's going down in a hostile environment. I think the Hoosier fans are going to like flood the zone too down in Miami. I think they're down there now partying with the Miami fans.
They have to. You can't let Miami take over.
It's a homecoming for Mendoza, right? Yeah. Heisman Trophy winner. He grew up less than a mile from there, and I think that it's going to be a pretty good game. I think I'm going to pick Indiana in this game. I think a lot of people are, but man, if Miami gets this program a national championship after, you know, not doing much for the most, you know, the last 20 years, 20 plus years, actually, it's going to be an amazing thing for Miami to win. But I like to see the underdog winning. It'll be a story probably in a movie if Indiana wins this game, because that's definitely been a movie storybook type of season for the Indiana Hoosiers. So Hoosiers, good luck to you. I think I'm going to pick you to win this game.
Yeah.
With that, Tony, we're going to close out the evening. Hey, good having you on the show again. Hey, it's early 2026. We got a lot of stuff going on. So, hey, thank everybody for tuning in. This has been the Chasing the Highlights podcast. My name is Lonnie Washington, and that is Tony Robinson. Good night, everybody.